Bum 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 The good news is you didn't lose 45 grand last night because there's no breakfast, so it's good. But I'm just opening it up for everyone that whoever wants to sponsor one of breakfast on one of these Friday mornings.
45 grand?
Huh? It's 45. Yes, it's 45 grand.
$1,000 and about 164 shekels.
Right. Okay, let's do one more nigga. Shamayim ba'arem Ezri me'im Hashem Ose shamayim ba'arem Da 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 ma ya ma 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 Da 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 ma ya da 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 ay 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 bam 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 A few years ago, some of the chevra, I don't remember which trip, there was a guy collecting money right by the Tzion of Rabbi Nachman that came up to us. We came up to a bunch of us separately. With me, he came up to me and he said to me, do you know what the key for simcha is? Who's really someone that's sameach? Someone that's shomer Shabbos. That's what he said to me. I said, why? He's like, because it says, Yismchu v'malchuscha. Who? Shomer Shabbos. He says, very pusher. Like, Shomer Shabbos. He's like, so how do you, so he said, so what's the key to simcha? He said, you have to learn how to keep Shabbos if you want to be b'simcha. So, I saw him again when we were there a few months, this was like a few years ago. I saw him again a few months ago, and I told him, אני זוכר אותך. He's like, לא, he says, אתה לא זוכר אותי. I'm like, לא. אני מנסה לשמור שבת מאז שהייתי איתך פעם שעבר. Wow, he remembered. Yeah, it stuck. It definitely stuck. So today what we're going to see, I believe right now we are Perek Daled. Perek Daled, Daf Mem Daled. We're going to see, that's the kivun of today's learning. I just want to say Bruchim Hashavim to Rabbi Michael Miller, who's back home with us, Baruch Hashem. And also to our dear friend Yosef, who's going to be, how long? End of July, moving to our neighborhood, Baruch Hashem. So, it's all, let's just continue with the simchas and hopefully hear good news and spread good news, Bezrat Hashem. Okay, so Daf Mem Daled, Shomer Shabbos Kil Chasa. So he's going to go again, Rabbi Yaakov Meir is going to be going again to speaking about his Abba. I love this sefer because it's like, remember the first Rashi of the Torah, it says, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Rashi quotes Rabbi Yitzchak, and we learned this many times, and everyone's trying to figure out who is this Rabbi Yitzchak that Rashi quotes, right? Lama Torah itchila mipo, velo mitzvah yishona. So the famous word was that Rashi was just quoting his father, Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzchak. He just wanted to open up his perush on the Torah with Kibud Av, giving Kibud Av. I told you guys, for years I thought that was like the highest vort, that like, because everyone's saying, we can't find this Rabbi Yitzchak anywhere. So Rashi, so Sifsei Chachamim says there, Rashi was just giving Kibud Horim. So I remember, if anyone remember what Boaz said? This just shows you. What the Gemara says, Luchos v'shivei luchos monachim ba'aram. This should be for refuah shlema for our dear friend Boaz, who we see walking around here. Who knows the sivuvim, the hakafas that he's doing here? What kind of kedusha he's bringing down here? One Monday night when I first moved here, down beneath where Itamar was, we were down in Pitum 58 or something, where Ido Palak is, right? So we had one shiur a week there, Monday night shiur, and Boaz came. And Boaz came out, he's like, רב שלמה, אני לא רציתי להגיד לפני כולם, אבל לא, מצאנו, יש איזה רבי יצחק שאומר את זה באחד מהמדרשים. It's like Boaz's Talmud Torah is so wide that he actually said, no, we did find, he said, there is a Rabbi Yitzchak that actually does say such a thing, but you got to be holding cup. You have to be holding the whole Torah to know, right? But here in this Sefer, it's so much about his Abba. Like what he got from his Abba, what he got from home. So he says like this, Adoni Avi Mori Verabi, Alav Shalom. That's what it stands for, right? Adoni Avi Mori Verabi. Now, if there was a Dalet in there, what would it be? Adonenu. That means Admor, like our Rebbe. But when it's Aleph, Aleph, Mem, Vav, Reish, Adoni Avi Mori Verabi, he's referring to my Abba, his Abba, Alav Shalom. Haya Shomer Shabbat Gadol. He was a tremendous Shomer Shabbos. What does that mean? Hen b'chelek hazocher es Yom HaShabbos lekodsho, v'hen b'chelek hashomer es Yom HaShabbos lekodsho. What does it mean that you're a Shomer Shabbos in these two areas? What do you think that means? Kidu. One is the stuff I have to make sure I don't do wrong, and also the karata la Shabbat oneg, the stuff that I have to make sure that I'm, deriving tremendous amount of pleasure from. Hen behidurei Shabbat, hen beisurei Shabbat. שהיה נזהר ביותר שלא יבוא לידי חשש רחוק של חילול Shabbos. He was very careful that he stayed away, בתכלית of staying away of chas v'chalila, any form of chilul Shabbos. The only way to do that, though, is to make sure you're staying away from any chilul Shabbos is really knowing the malachas inside out. תמיד בדק את עצמו אם קיים את השבת כהלכתו. אם פעם נכשל חס ושלום בטלטול מוקצה, או חשש של בורר חס ושלום וכדומה. If God forbid he was ever over in carrying muktzah, moving muktzah, or a chashash of borer, which the Mishnah Brura, by the way, says in the Hakdama of borer, that basically it's almost impossible not to be over borer. The melacha of borer is one of the most complicated melachot. One of the most complicated melachot to refrain from. We don't even really understand what borer is. But he says that if God forbid he fell in one of these things, so he said, Hu, or Echad mibnei beito, if it was him, or one of the people in his house, haya mitzta'er mezeh me'od, it really pained him. Umitbonen ketzad ba lidei hamichshol. And he would say, well, how did I get to a place that I was over this? Like, he cared. He cared enough to see what led me to come to a place where I could be over a malacha. He would, go back and try to figure out, connect the dots. Oh, I thought this was okay. But the more you learn it inside, the more you see the mahalach of how you could be led to such an inyan. And he was always looking for eitzos to make sure how I don't fall into this again. Now this is important. And this we see by a lot of Baalei Tshuvas that are learning, even like Chaver that are from birth, but then they take on Hilchos Shabbos. There's a big chashash. The Yetzer Hara is like, oh, I got this guy good. I'm going to make him so worried about being over on Shabbos that I'm going to completely suck out the energy of Oneg Shabbos. Right? It's a very, very big one. It's a very important one. אך יחד עם זאת היה נזהר אבי מאוד שהחלק של הזהירות לא יביא אותו לפגום בחלק של העונג Shabbos. And this is an important yesod that we have to really remember while we're Be'ezrat Hashem learning about Shabbos v'chulei. If your zehirut about not mechaleling Shabbos keeps you on shpilkas all Shabbos to make sure you don't come out of Shabbos a sinner, the other side is won. He won. You don't have Shabbos. And he says his father was very makpid on this. Vayomer b'shem HaChafetz Chaim zchus yagen aleinu shemi shemechabdim oto b'Shabbos kodesh b'arachat tabak v'hu nimna mishum shviras taiva harehu pogem be'oneg Shabbos. This is very interesting. Chafetz Chaim said, if someone's offered snuff tabak on Shabbos, right? We don't have it so much here. I grew up in a shul. It was every Shabbos after Kedusha, there was a whole section of sneezers. It's like it was kavua. Anyone else have that in their shul? The sneezing section?
Brown mustache.
The brown mustache sneezing section. Only on Yom Kippur. Some chaver are makpid, but it's true. Yom Kippur definitely. He says if someone's offered snuff tabak, right, and they don't do it because they say, well, my thing right now is I'm in the avodah of breaking a taiva, and that's why I want it so badly, but I won't. He's saying you're pogem be'oneg Shabbos if this could bring you oneg Shabbos. Who says this? Not Reb Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin, not Rabbi Nachman, not the Ishbitzer. Me, a Chafetz Chaim. Whenever I hear things like that, I'm like, okay, Yesh al Mili, I feel much better about it, Chafetz Chaim says this. Meaning so much so the avoda of Shabbos is not, let's see how strong I am in breaking me. That's every day. That's the whole week. V'chulei, all that. Shabbos, it's a zone of oneg. It's a mashu acher. It's a zone of oneg we have to be very, very, very intuitive with. Okay. Second to bottom, on the bottom column on the left side, ובדרך דוגמה, as an example, כשאוכלים אבטיח בשבת, this is important, eating a watermelon on Shabbos, הבחין שנכשלים בבורר. He saw that you're over on borer when it comes to eating a watermelon on Shabbos. And I want to go into it right now because, again, this melacha is so complicated, but it's definitely, obviously, a possibility that someone can be over the inyan of borer by eating an avatiach, even eating a watermelon on Shabbos that has seeds, נכון? בעת שמוציאים את הגרעינים. בזמנם לא היה אבטיח בלא גרעינים כבזמננו. Miraculously, today we have seedless watermelons. It wasn't always like this. There was a time, I don't know if anyone in the room remembers, there was a time when every watermelon had seeds. בסדר. ולכן חיפש עצה שלא ייכשלו בחילול Shabbos. He's like, well, people are still going to eat watermelon, maybe even in my house, so how could I make it be that they won't be over this isser? וגם שלא יפגום בכבוד ועונג Shabbos, לכבדו במאכלים ערבים. So he wanted to make sure, Aleph, they're not over it, but I guess watermelon was a delicacy. He's like, but I also don't want to take this delicacy away. So I got to figure out in the inside, I have to figure out what to do. Ma'asa, next page. כבר ביום החמישי, Thursday, חתך את האבטיח. He cut the watermelon on Thursday. ופרסו לפרוסות דקות, והוציאו את כל הגרעינים. And he spent like לחובד Shabbos, Kodesh. On Thursday, he's taking out, moving the seeds. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, but it won't be so fresh anymore, right? That's the mind. What's more important? To feel like it's a fresh new avatiach that was never touched before, or to make sure you can have both worlds. Like, okay, cut it up on Thursday, not going to be over a border, and I'm going to enjoy it on Shabbos. והכניס את האבטיח לכלי נאה. He put the avatiach, the watermelon, into a nice vessel. והכניסו לתוך ארגז הקרח. He put it into an icebox. Now look at look what he says here. Eiskasten, ובזמננו, frigider. You see that written in there? ובשבת היה לו טעם ערב. היה בזה גם so what does he say? What ended up happening? היה בזה גם הידור בכבוד שבת, שיוכלו אבטיח לכבוד ולעונג, וגם שלא יבואו עדי זה לידי איסור חס ושלום. What's something that each of us can do, that issues like this right now, with other things, that we could already say on Thursday, I'm going to do something to make sure that on Shabbos I don't come to be a malacha. Some easy ones I could do. Fridge light for sure. Opening the bottle, exactly. That's a big one. Also, people don't realize opening the bottles. I can't hear you. For why? Oh, Beseder, yeah. Obviously, cutting toilet paper. That's a big one. Meaning, there's anything you could think of that maybe on Shabbos it's like, whoa, I'm not really sure. So I'll learn Hilchot Shabbat to find out. You'll probably see that when you learn Hilchot Shabbat, take care of business on Thursday. Like, that'll probably be the conclusion. Yeah, you'll understand things that are mutar or that are asur, but in the mind that wants to be settled for Oneg Shabbos, you'll do whatever it takes to make sure, game set. I'm setting up shop so that on Shabbos I'm not freaking out. Am I over a melacha or not? And that's a really important yesod with Bekarat al Shabbat Oneg. Very simple. It's supposed to be pleasurable.
It seems complicated just as long as you don't know. Once you learn it, you just learn. It's not so bad. Even maybe eating avatiach, it's not a big of a deal.
To what?
Eating avatiach, like spit out the seeds, like not taking them out with the fork.
It's true. It's true. Nachon.
To learn.
Nachon. Nachon. Yismuchu malchus shomrei Shabbos.
Is there some Indian with Yom Chamishi and not Yom Shishi?
With what?
Is there some Indian with Yom Chamishi and not Yom Shishi?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Because we said before, you want to get everything done
Oh,
on time.
remember 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you were here in that year, right? Well, guys, we only have, how many more hours do we have for Achanas for Shabbos?
12:37. I got it.
What's that?
12:37.
Which means 11:37. an hour before Chatzot, because we're trying to get everything right. Because we're trying to get everything done an hour.
Even after that, right?
What's that? An hour before Chatzot Hayom. Zmaniyot, meaning it's but there's no Isser, meaning that we're not talking. No one's going to Gehenna Chas v'Shalom if they don't like. Who saw me in the market last week? I was so embarrassed. I was in the market at 1:45, and one of the Chaver here saw me. I was like, oh my God. I tried so hard, and I was like, I need to go out and get, and I knew if I pulled out, like we learned in Shir to my wife, it would be a bad. Shalom Bayit was right. Yeah. But the truth is, you know how many Chaver that are sitting in this room were in touch this week and last week, the two things, and I'm so proud. One is that Chaver here that know about Shnai Mikra Echad Targum, Mamish delved back into it last week. This whole week has been living with the times. Again, just so beautiful, so beautiful. And also some Chaver in the room, Mamish put away their avoda, their kelim of work. They're doing it. Friday much earlier than usual. Those that are able to. So I think maybe that's why he's saying Thursday. Like, get as much done as you can. Be'ezrat Hashem.
How many people here put a non-lutar item in their trash?
What do you mean?
It's a shiloh whether you can take out the garbage on Shabbos, but if you have a non-lutar item in your trash, now you can carry that back out. So if you really want to step it up, take one of these water bottles and throw it in your trash right before Shabbos.
He's actually going to be speaking about this in a second. He's going to bring it up. Look at this.
That's the frontier.
בהגיע השבס, היה אבי מורי עליו השלום מזהיר את בני הבית להקפיד ולדקדק לבל ייכשלו באיסורים מצויים. כמו like we said before, כמו באיסור בורר או בטלטול מוקצה. הוא עצמו התמיד רבות בהלכות שבס, ובקיא היה בהם. He knew Hilchos Shabbos inside out, my father, he's his father. וכל כך השריש את חומרת העניין בקרבנו. You know what hishrish means? He rooted. Yeah, hishrish. He took the concept of making sure you really know Shabbos so much into us, his kinderlach, his children, עד שכל אחד מהילדים הרגיש שחילול שבת היא העבירה הגרועה ביותר, until all of us, his children, felt that Chilul Shabbos is the worst Aveira in the world. Now, when we say Chilul Shabbos, we mean one thing. When he's saying Chilul Shabbos, he means something else. When we say Chilul Shabbos, what are we thinking about? Watching watching Game 2 or whatever it is, right? or smoking on Shabbos, like Chilul Shabbos, right? Chilul Shabbos by him is what?
Spitting out water.
It's watermelon seeds, right? Chilul Shabbos, though, right? Chilul Shabbos. Doraisa de Rabbanan. Chumras. Chilul Shabbos. But he said, when you grow up in a house with the father that is holding court, he knows it deep down inside. And he's not trying to shove it down his child's throat, but the child sees, wow, this is so precious in the father's eyes. He's learned the whole sugya so deep. It goes into the child in terms of level of chashivas, of what's important, what's not important. And he's saying, this is what we got from him. Zechurani od meminhago shel avi b'shmirat Shabbat. Now this is interesting. I remember this minhag from my father regarding keeping Shabbos. Kshayu ochlim ma'achal sheyesh bo psolet. You know what that means? Something waste within the food, right? Huh? You could take avatiach. What else is something that was more matsui, maybe? Huh? Peanuts. Any food? No, because I eat a lot of. I can eat peels too. Atzamot, bones. Yeah, bone. Yeah. היה מניח, נכון, cherry too. היה מניח כלי על השולחן, שאת כל הפסולת יכניסו לתוך הכלי. So he would put what was this called in high school? We also had these things on the table to throw away. A kolboinik. You ever hear that word? Kolboinik? You know what it means? Actually, I only realized much later in life. Kolbo. You just throw everything in it. But it's called a kolboinik. They used to put it on our high school. Sorry? Yeah, נכון, בדיוק. Wherever, all the psolet, אתה מכיר את, נו? קולבויניק, אתה יודע מה זה קולבויניק? כן. כל מה ש... כל מה שלא שייך זורקים לתוכו, נכון. Now, but he said, כדי שלא יהיו שאלות של מוקצה ובורר. So why did he put it there? So that there wouldn't be shilas, of carrying or of border, because you're doing it right away. You're putting it out right there. אך כדי שלא יהיה חשש של מבטל כלי מהיכנו, שיש בו איסור של בונה או סותר. But also, so that there wouldn't be a chashash of, you ever heard this concept called mevatel kli meichano?
Yeah, you're like canceling the kli.
No, you're changing the status. You're nullifying the status of the kli as a kli in order for it to contain what it is. Because what's the problem? And that's asa, right? Usually.
Because otherwise you can't use it.
Nachon, b'diuk.
This is what I was saying.
I know.
If you put something in
Correct.
the
Correct.
that's mutar before you start.
It changes the status of it, and then it can be something that can be used. Nachon. There's, you know how many Hasidic shetayros are on that? Think of it deeply. There are a lot of words on that halacha. Right? You can just take your mind. You can go there already and see how the tzaddikim speak about this stuff. וכן שיוכלו לסלקו מן השולחן עם המוקצה ממש. כגון, he gives us here examples, כגון בקליפת אגוזים, walnuts, עצמות, bones שאין ראויות לכלב וכדומה. היה מניח כף בתוך הכלי, he would put a spoon into the vessel, כדי שיהיה הכלי בסיס לאיסור ולהתר. Boom. ברוך שכיוונת. Or like Rabbeinu Shaul would say right now, הודו להשם כי טוב, כי לעולם חסדו. וגם דקדק להכניס את הכף הפוך. But not just that, he'd put in the spoon upside down, כדי שלא ייכנס המוקצה לכף. Meaning, and then you'd be like, you understand? Because then if you're ochez it, if you put the spoon into the muktzeh, you're scooping, that's also this problem. You understand? So what is he doing? He's putting this kli on there, the kol boinik, but he's putting it in a way that to avoid isurim, and then he puts the spoon in there upside down so that the spoon doesn't chalila grab the muktzeh that's in there either. והכף עצמו לא יהפך לביטול כלי מeichanon. זכורני גם כאשר אירע חס ושלום איזה פגם של חילול שבס, נוהג היה אבי לגשת למקרר. He said, this is beautiful. This is an eitzah, okay? Especially with parents to little children, okay? So, like Chinuch 101 here. You remember when chas v'shalom there was a pgam of a chashash of chilul Shabbos. Not even sure if it was chilul Shabbos, there was a blemish that there was a chashash, maybe someone was over on something in the house. נוהג היה אבי לגשת למקרר ולשלוף מיני מגדים ממתקים מיוחדים ולאוכלם לכבוד שבס כתיקון לחשש החילול. This is so beautiful. He said, my dad would go to the pantry and he'd take out mamtakim. He would take out sweets and candies and he'd say, listen, I think maybe because there was a chashash here that we blemish Shabbos, right? So he says, exactly. What's the tikkun for it? It's not, now you'll be punished until you learn your lesson. It's like, no. That's not how it works. That's not the point. Dafka, the tikkun is, he says, I'm going to take out sweets and eat l'chofet Shabbos. Huh? It really is. It really is. You hear what Dov said before the, huh?
This is the thing. This is how you're supposed to raise your...
Mamish.
The lesson of today, not just the specific muktzah, it's how you're supposed to approach Shabbos with your kids.
With oneg.
Oneg is not,
Oneg.
it's not a punishment. This is a way to enjoy
With
it.
oneg. But,
How far did that get us?
but you know, but understand, like this, to do this back then in his day and age was unheard of. You kidding me? That there's a chashash of chilul Shabbos, and he says, well, the Eid says, I want my children to have Shabbos rooted into them. If I show them how scared I am that they may have caused something that in the time of the Mikdash would cause them to be stoned to death, right? Then who's winning like that, right? So he's saying, well, so I have to figure out a way. He says, so what's the tikkun for that? It's like, the tikkun is to go to the pantry and take out sweets and put the emphasis on that.
And also you had mentioned how poor they were.
Dirt poor.
That sweet is not as
100%.
You remember
Mamash, nachon?
in what the tshuva somewhere there, I don't remember us touching upon it, where there's a whole idea of like when the person is feeling guilty about their sins and they realize that what they've done, and then Rav Kook was giving us an eight, so that at that point you should be really happy because you have regret on your sins, you're healthy. And so
As opposed to,
oh my God,
Nachon.
it's terrible, and then perpetuating, that terrible feeling.
Nachon. But here we have a beautiful thing. Where did he get this chap, his father? That this is how you do a tikkun. Look at the next paragraph. Ma'aseu ze lamad midivrei Rabbeinu HaKadosh b'Likutei Moharan. How did he learn this from Likutei Moharan? Rabbi Nachman says in Likutei Moharan, Siman Reish Ayin Zayin, al yidei achilat Shabbat nitatken chilul Shabbat. So what did Rabbi Nachman mean when he said that through the eating of Shabbos, you're fixing the chilul of Shabbos? So that's like a pretty big statement that all the tzaddikim in Breslev are giving hours and hours of perushim on understanding what Rabbi Nachman meant by that. He's like, wait a second, this is what it means. The pgam of chilul Shabbos is so big, I'm not sure exactly what it causes, but it seems to me that if it causes me to lose the oneg, it did its damage. So therefore, the counter of that is going back to the oneg and bringing oneg into the picture again. That's how he learned it out. ומתוך האמונה הפשוטה שחדורה הייתה ומושרשת אצלו בתמימות, האמין שהתיקון המתאים ביותר הוא להתענג בממתקים לכבוד שבס. כי הכיבוד לשבת הוא המתקן הראוי למי שנכשל בהפך מן הכיבוד. Because honoring Shabbos is the best fixing to that which was nechshal, of the opposite of Koved Shabbos. So alavai, first of all, alavai, we should be on the level that we really are aware of what may be a pagam of Chilul Shabbos. Like how would I know, kind of what you were saying, Sasha, how would I be on the level to know, to be aware of what may lead to a pagam in Chilul Shabbos? I just have to learn it. Rabbi Nachman says in another teaching, they have a beautiful booklet in Breslev about Chashivut Limud Shulchan Aruch. No, Rabbi Nachman said you have to learn Shulchan Aruch every single day. Very big by Rabbi Nachman. Huh? I didn't want to say that yet, but I'm saying you have to learn Shulchan Aruch. I want people to start, so I don't say 4 prokim. He also says he's voted us, right? How long? If Yaakov Meir Shechter said start with 5 minutes of Yidbodedut. He says, because if you tell him to start with an hour, no one will start, right? So Rabbi Nachman speaks, there's a beautiful booklet. A few years ago in Shavuos, we learned part of it, where he says there that we have a statement that says, En simcha katarat asfekot. The greatest simcha you could have in this world is the removal of doubt. Learning halacha is the removal of doubt. That's what learning halacha is. I don't know what to do. I'm not sure what to do. Yismuchul malchuscha Shomrei Shabbos. Those that know how to keep Shabbos are the happiest. You know why? Because they remove doubt from their life in terms of their keeping Shabbos or not. It's true about every area of halacha, but specifically here, it's a very important thing. So as we go along and keep on learning these in the context of things, and you see here inyanim of like borer or tikkun kli mevatel kli mehechano and all these. Go inside and look back inside in the halacha and see, did I really get it right or not? Did I really know, was I on or not? Sharpen it deeper. And don't be scared that now your Shabbos is going to look different once you learn what you shouldn't be doing. La'efech, if that's where it brings you to, also learn deeper what you should be doing. And look at the places that bring oneg of Shabbos and put more emphasis on it. That's how the tikkun over here is happening. All right, we're going to stop here today. We'll continue here next time. And we sent out. We sent out. The show sent out for Shavuos. There's so much learning. There's so much amazing stuff that we're preparing, and there's a lot going on. And there'll be a bar mitzvah here this Shabbos also. Baruch Hashem, a lot going on. So stay involved. Stay involved. See what we'll offer to see how you could get more involved. And B'ezrat Hashem will drive this home. It should be the strongest Chag HaShavuot we've ever had of Kabbalah Satorah and B'pnimius with Yischadshus and most importantly with Simcha.
Amen.